along the way. And I want to talk this weekend and next weekend about some obstacles that really get in the way of us actually progressing in our spiritual journey. And I've learned in my own life and ministering to people over a number of years now that one of the biggest areas, one of the biggest aspects of obstacles that get in the way is something that most of us are very familiar with. It's something that we refer to as excuses. There are certain excuses that come up in life that keep us from really taking steps forward in our journey with God and our growth in life in general. And that's not new to us. It's been a part of the record of Scripture. If you study the Bible, you'll find out that lots of men and women in the Bible, when God tried to move them forward, they had an excuse for why they couldn't do what God wanted them to do. Most of us remember the story of a man by the name of Moses. Moses, after he'd spent 40 years in the wilderness, he encounters a burning bush one day, and God speaks to him out of that burning bush and says, Moses, I want you to go back into Egypt, and I want you to set my people free, lead them out of Egyptian slavery. And Moses' response, recorded in Exodus chapter 3, is basically this: who am I, God? I can't speak very well. You certainly would not want someone like me. An excuse came from the mouth of Moses. You take a look further into Scripture, you go to Judges chapter 16, you find a man by the name of Gideon. It was a time in Israel's history when a group of people called the Midianites were ravaging Israel, and God needed someone to bring deliverance to his people. And God spoke to Gideon and said, Gideon, I want to make you a mighty man of valor. I want you to raise up an army and deliver Israel from the hand of the Midianites. And Gideon's response was, how can I? How can I save Israel? After all, I'm of the least of the least of the least families in all of Israel. You certainly would not want me. There you see another excuse. We also see a man by the name of Jonah. Does anyone remember Jonah? Of course we know Jonah. God spoke to Jonah and said, Jonah, I want you to go to Nineveh. I want you to preach to the Ninevites because they're very evil. They need to repent of their ways. And instead of doing what God asked him to do, Jonah got on a boat and went in the exact opposite direction of what